He arrived in a luxury
everyone.
SUV.
It's a pleasure.
Wearing a designer suit,
We're
a gold
honored.
watch worth more than most people's yearly salary, and sunglasses that screamed wealth. People stopped to stare. Phones came out to record him, and whispers spread through the streets. "That's Zaire M," someone said. "The richest man in town." Zaire smiled proudly as he handed expensive tips to the valet, posed beside the SUV, and laughed loudly so everyone could hear him. What nobody knew was that the SUV belonged to the bank. The designer clothes were bought using someone else's salary, and the man everyone admired hadn't worked a single day in over 5 years. The person paying for his glamorous lifestyle was his exhausted wife, and she was slowly dying inside. The perfect husband to everyone else. Zaire M loved attention more than anything. Every morning, he dressed in expensive Italian suits, polished his designer shoes, sprayed imported perfume, and walked around town as though he owned every building. He spent hours at luxury cafes, posting pictures online. Blessed beyond measure. Hard work pays. Another successful business meeting. His social media followers admired him. His friends envied him. Women secretly wished for a husband like him. Only one person knew the truth. His wife, Amari, woke up every morning at 4:30 a.m. She prepared breakfast,
ironed Zaire's clothes, packed her own lunch, then rushed to work as a senior finance manager for a large company. She worked 12-hour shifts while Zaire stayed home watching television, scrolling through social media, and planning where he would show off next.
financial abuse behind closed doors. Every month, the moment Amari's salary entered her account, Zaire demanded her bank card. "Give it to me." "I still have bills to pay," Amari whispered. Zaire's smile disappeared. "What bills? I'm the man of this house." He snatched her purse. Within hours, he had bought designer sneakers, luxury watches, expensive whiskey, and booked VIP tables at clubs. When Amari asked for grocery money, there isn't enough. When she needed money for petrol, "You spent too much." When she wanted new work shoes, "You women are never satisfied." Meanwhile, Zaire spent thousands entertaining friends who believed he was a millionaire businessman. Emotional scars. Money wasn't the only thing Zaire controlled. Every day he criticized Amari. "You're lucky I married you. No other man would want someone who spends all day working. You've gained weight. You look tired. You embarrass me." Amari stopped smiling. She stopped wearing makeup. She stopped meeting family. Eventually, she stopped recognizing herself. Every night, she cried quietly in the bathroom so Zaire wouldn't hear. One Friday after work, Amari met her closest friends, Ayanda, Nomsa, and Thandi, at a quiet restaurant. The moment they saw her face, they knew something was wrong. "Amari, what happened?" She tried to smile. "I'm fine." Ayanda reached across the table. "No, you're not." The tears
Came instantly. "I don't know how much longer I can do this. Her friends listened silently. He controls every cent I earn. I don't even know what's left in my own account. He insults me every day. He says I'm nothing without him.
Nomsa looked shocked. Does he even work? Amari shook her head. No. And you're paying for everything? She nodded. The house, the cars, the clothes, the holidays, the parties, the expensive gifts he gives his friends? Fandi covered her mouth. That's financial abuse. Ayanda added gently. And emotional abuse too. Amari lowered her head. I've been too embarrassed to tell anyone. Nomsa squeezed her hand. You don't have to carry this alone anymore. For the first time in years, Amari felt heard. The king's table. That same evening, Zaya sat in the VIP section of the city's most expensive lounge. His friends surrounded him. Music blasted. Bottles covered the table. Zaire raised his glass. To success! His friends cheered. One of them laughed. Zaire, my brother, your life is amazing. You don't even seem stressed. Zaire leaned back proudly. When you are smart, money works for you. Another friend asked, So what business are you running these days? Zaire smiled confidently. I have investments. What kind? He quickly changed the subject. Forget business. Let's order another bottle. Everyone laughed. No one questioned him. He paid the bill using Amari's bank card. As he signed the receipt, he grinned. My wife loves spoiling me. His friends admired him even more. But across town, the woman funding every luxury was sitting in her car, wiping away tears before driving home. She had finally told someone the truth, and deep inside, a quiet strength was beginning to grow. Wow! How interesting is this? Amari is going through a lot. Have you ever been financially abused or witnessed someone else being abused? If you have, please share the story with me in the comment section. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Let's get back to the story. The richest man in town stood in front of a crowd, smiling as camera flashes lit up his face. He had just donated expensive hampers to a local charity, earning applause from everyone around him. What a generous man, people shouted. Zaire soaked in the admiration, waving proudly. But just a few streets away, his wife was standing at a supermarket checkout, quietly putting bread, milk, and cooking oil back on the shelf because her bank account had been emptied again. Amori stared at the supermarket cashier in disbelief. I'm sorry, ma'am, the cashier said politely. Your card has been declined. She tried again. Declined. She checked her banking app. Her heart sank. Her salary, which had been deposited just 2 days earlier, was almost gone. Thousands had been spent on luxury clothing stores, an expensive watch boutique, a nightclub, and a high-end liquor store. She didn't even have enough money to buy food. Embarrassed, she apologized to the people waiting behind her and walked out with empty hands. She sat in her car.
I can't believe this is happening.
How had her life come to this?
This can't be real.
A friend refused to stay silent. That evening, Ayanda called Amari. "Did you eat?" Amari forced a laugh. "I'll make something." "You don't sound okay." After a long silence, Amari confessed what had happened at the supermarket. "Day, while he lives off your hard work." Nomsa and Tandy joined the call. "We've been talking," Nomsa said. "We want to help you." Amari was overwhelmed. "For years, I thought I was alone." "You aren't anymore," Thandi said gently. The king among his friends. Meanwhile, Zaya was hosting another gathering at an exclusive rooftop restaurant. His friends admired his latest purchase, a sparkling diamond chain. "Woohoo! Zaya, you've upgraded again!" One of them laughed. Zaya smiled proudly. A real man must look successful. Another friend, Themba, looked confused. "My brother, I never see you at work." Zaya chuckled. "When you are intelligent, people work for you." Everyone laughed, except Themba. "So, what's the name of your company?" Zaya hesitated for a split second. "I have several investments." "What investments?" Zaya quickly signaled the waiter. "Let's order another premium bottle." The conversation shifted, but Themba couldn't ignore the uneasy feeling growing in his stomach. Amari arrived home late after working overtime. The house was filled with shopping bags, designer clothes, luxury shoes, expensive perfumes. Zaye walked into the lounge smiling. "Do you like them?" Amari looked at the bags. "You used my money again." "Our money," Zaye corrected sharply. "There isn't even food in the house." "You worry too much." "I couldn't buy groceries today." Zaire rolled his eyes. "You always complain." "I work so hard, Zaire." "So? That's your responsibility as my wife." Amari stared at him in disbelief. "My responsibility?" "Yes," he replied coldly. "A husband deserves to live well." She felt something inside her break. Not with anger, not with fear, with clarity. A plan begins. The next morning, Amari arrived at work looking unusually calm. Her colleague, Zanele, noticed. "You seem different today." Amari smiled faintly. "I think I'm finally tired of being afraid." During her lunch break, she quietly walked into her bank. She asked to speak with a financial consultant. For the first time in years, she learned exactly where her money had been going. The consultant looked concerned after reviewing months of transactions. "Mrs. Maseko," he said gently, "most of your salary is being spent within 48 hours of being deposited." Amari nodded sadly. "I know. There are steps you can take to protect your finances." As the consultant explained her options, Amari listened carefully. She wasn't making any sudden decisions yet, but she was learning, planning, preparing. For the first time in a long... With time, hope replaced fear. That evening, Zaire drove through town in his shiny SUV, waving proudly as people admired him. He had no idea that the woman financing his luxurious life had just taken the first quiet step toward changing hers. And when the truth finally came out, the man who loved showing off the most would have the furthest to fall. Zaire adjusted his designer jacket, smiled at the crowd, and walked confidently towards the stage to receive the Businessman of the Year award sponsored by a local social club. Cameras flashed from every direction. His friends cheered loudly. Just as he reached for the microphone, his phone vibrated. One notification changed everything. Transaction declined. Then another. Bank card blocked. Then another. Vehicle repossession scheduled. For the first time in years, the man who loved showing off had nothing to show. Zaire forced a smile and accepted the fake award. But inside, he was panicking. As soon as he stepped off the stage, he called Amari. She didn't answer. He called again. Nothing. He rushed to an ATM. Transaction declined. He tried another card. Transaction declined. Sweat rolled down his face. This can't be happening. Unknown to Zaire, Amari had followed the bank's advice. She had opened a new account in her own name, redirected her salary, cancelled the cards he had been using, and removed his access to her finances. For the first time since they had married, Zaire could no longer spend her money. Zaire stormed into the house later that night. "Amari!" he shouted. She calmly walked into the living room. "Why are my cards not working?" "They were never your cards," she replied quietly. "What do you mean?" "They belonged to me. I earned every cent." Zaire laughed nervously. "Stop playing games." "I'm not. You embarrassed me today." Amari looked him straight in the eyes. "No, Zaire. You embarrassed yourself." He had never had her speak with such confidence. "You've controlled my money, insulted me, and treated me like I was nothing," she continued. "That ends today." Zaire's face hardened. "You can't survive without me." Amari smiled sadly. "I've been surviving without you all along." A week later, Themba invited Zaire and the rest of their friends for lunch. Zaire arrived wearing one of his last designer outfits. His friends noticed he looked worried. Themba spoke first. "My brother, I need to ask you something." Zaire forced a smile. "Go ahead." "I met Amari." Zaire froze. She told us everything. The table fell silent. "She works, you don't. She pays for everything. The cars, the clothes, the parties, the gifts, the vacations." One friend shook his head. "So, every time you told us you were a successful businessman, you were lying," another finished. Zaire tried to defend himself. "It's not like that." Themba stood up. "A real man doesn't build his reputation by breaking the woman who loves him." One by one, his friends left the table. For the first time, Zaire sat alone. No applause. No admiration. Only silence. Ameri finds herself again. Months passed. Without Zaire draining her salary, Ameri's life changed dramatically. She paid off debts that had been hanging over her for years. She furnished her own apartment exactly the way she wanted. She traveled with Ayanda, Nomsa, and Thandi for a relaxing weekend by the coast. The first holiday she had truly enjoyed in years. She smiled more. She laughed freely. She slept peacefully. Her confidence slowly returned. At work, she earned another promotion after her managers recognized her dedication and leadership. One evening, she stood on her apartment balcony watching the sunset. Ayanda smiled beside her. "You look happy." Amari took a deep breath. "I forgot what peace felt like. You deserve every bit of it." Zaire's fall. Without Amari's income, Zaire's world crumbled. The luxury SUV was repossessed. His expensive apartment lease was cancelled. The designer stores stopped extending him credit. The people who once surrounded him disappeared. Those who had called him boss no longer answered his calls. Eventually, he had no choice but to look for work. Interview after interview ended the same way. What experience do you have? He had none. For years, he had spent more time pretending to be successful than becoming successful. He finally accepted a humble entry-level job. For the first time in his life, he understood how hard it was to earn an honest paycheck. Wealth that cannot be bought. One afternoon, Amari and her friends met for coffee. They laughed as they shared stories about work, family, and their dreams for the future. Amari looked around the table and smiled. Months earlier, she had arrived broken, afraid, and ashamed. Now, she felt stronger than ever. As they prepared to leave, she noticed Zaire across the street. He wore simple clothes and carried a lunch bag as he walked home from work. Their eyes met for a brief moment. Zaire lowered his head. Amari didn't smile. She didn't frown. She simply turned around and walked away. Not because she hated him, but because she had finally learned that the greatest luxury in life isn't expensive cars, designer clothes, or impressing strangers. It's living with dignity, peace, and the freedom to be yourself. The end.